What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to set some intentions this week? We got a pretty light one, but Saturn, he's going direct. He's getting back to business, so that's one we're going to. I think that's a really interesting one that's going to set the tone, because then we have some technically some harsher aspects, but the benefics are talking. We got an aspect with Venus, and then we have Big Papa that's involved there with Mercury. So a lot of stuff to get into, but I'm going to be covering the week of the 14th through November 14th through the 20th, 2024. And let's get into this thing, because on Venus Day, the 15th of November, at about 6:20 a.m., that's going to be Pacific time, Saturn's going to be stationing direct in Pisces at about 12 degrees and 41 minutes. Now, this is going to be interesting because Saturn has been. Hold on, let me pull out the handy ephemeris real quick. Saturn's been chilling at like 12 degrees of Pisces since about the end of October. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that yet. And then it's going to be at that degree mark until about the 4th of December. And so he's going to be just kind of hanging out, really kind of deciding how we're moving forward from here. You know, when I think about Pisces energy, Pisces is traditionally ruled by Big Papa, Jupiter, and they are the mutable water sign. So there's a lot of energies, a lot of behind the scene things that are brewing in that cosmic ocean of Pisces. And now I think with Saturn stationing direct, if it has been a bit of a roller coaster, maybe in the ways that you've been maybe navigating through these waters haven't been the most constructive, then this would be a really great time to get an idea, like kind of get some eyes on if you've been in, let's say, a sense of escapism, or maybe there have been some tensions at work, in relationships, in home, in your environment, whatever that might look at. See where Saturn is stationing direct in your house. Maybe you got some debts that you need to get taken care of, or maybe you got some things in the house that are needing to get fixed up. But wherever this is happening for you, by sign, by house, well, by Pisces, this is going to be kind of an important thing to kind of really kind of weigh on as Saturn starts to get to, like I said, picking up momentum and kind of finishing out his trek in Pisces. And I think one thing I wanted to talk about too, considering that Saturn is going to be hanging out so long at this degree, I wanted to talk about the Sabian symbol of this 12 degrees of Pisces, which is phase 343 of Pisces. And this is an ancient sword used in many battles, is displayed in a museum. And I like that imagery of and when I'm thinking about this is all of the battles, like it said, the battles that you've been through, the things that you've had to face on this journey. And this gives it a chance to not necessarily romanticize it, but kind of remember where you've come from and think about all the Saturnian things that maybe that have been brought up for you over the years, the delays, the restrictions, the hardships. And again, not to bring you down, but it's like, man, you know what? Those were some times, and I've survived it. I've thrived it. I've grown from this thing, and now I can call upon some wisdom that I've gotten from those moments where I may have been missing some pieces, whatever that may be looking like for you. But the keynote for this is, through the effectual use of one's will, a consecrated person can become a symbol of courage for all of those who follow in their footsteps. And so whatever you've gone through, if you are looking at any sort of like regrets or past mistakes. Oh, interesting! I have the Six of Cups here for my general energy, but and that's a little interesting there as well. Just kind of, I think that one thing when you're kind of reflecting on those experiences is know that there is someone else who may be going through something similar, and you can be there to be a voice of reason. It's not to say that that's just why you went through this, but or may have felt that you've gone through this, but it can make the past. And really, again, there's something about being able. I actually had a conversation with someone not too long ago. We're bonding, but they were kind of giving me kind of a run through of where they've been at in life, and they're about a decade younger than me. And other than some like obvious things that are different, there were some very stark similarities as well that were going on. And it was kind of nice to be like, oh my goodness, like just to see all of these signs and just be like, well, hey, how are you dealing with this? What does this thing look like? Just, and not to impress or to project my things, but it was a nice reminder of, if you're looking for advice, this is a safe space to talk about it, and talk about it with someone who genuinely understands it. Because I mean, when you look at life, it really is. I mean, and just in like an astrological sense, life is split up into these 12 equal, some lovely, some not, little sections of life here, and that about covers the human experience, saying some nuances, of course. But I feel that there are more ways that they're similar than we are different than we give ourselves credit for sometimes. And so being that effective symbol, not looking at necessarily, it's not, a situation is going to be what a situation was, but it doesn't have to define you in the present. And that definitely doesn't have to define your future too, but it's because it's all made in this present time. And that's very Saturnian too, to think about this sense of time and responsibility and the discipline that we've developed, and like I said, the responsibilities that we have to level up the vibration. So very, very kind of interesting things to think about on a Friday. Again, depending on your time zone. But I feel like it can be something that when you go to a museum, it could bring about this sense of wonder, this sense of awe, even of just like, wow, look at what this person's done. And this person does, like, wow, thank you for helping me to skip that. Like, there's power in a teacher, whether it's like a formal sort of teacher, even someone just hands down just like their 2 cents, maybe $1, hopefully for you. But yeah, those are some things to be thinking about during the Saturn direct. And again, maybe a lot that may come up for you. Saturn's been kind of easing back, but yeah, now he's gonna go back one more time in Pisces. We're going to get another little taste before Saturn moves out and then gets into his fall, and then things are just going forward. We can't look back anymore. So save some time to maybe reflect when Saturn goes back towards that last retrograde in Pisces. But let's get into, speaking of Saturn, let's keep the theme going, because on Saturday, the 16th of November, at about 3:03 a.m., and remember again, that's Pacific time, Venus. She's going to be forming a square with the North Node, and this is going to be happening at 5 degrees and 35 minutes. Libra. Venus is in Capricorn, who she rules, one of the signs she rules is Libra, and the North Node is in Aries, and the South Node is in Libra. So let's talk about that first, because when any planet or luminary is forming a square with the nodes, it's when you have something that's happening with the North Node, the dragon's head, you're going to have something that's happening with the South Node, the dragon's tail. And this, to me, I feel this sort of square really is this sort of like, it's like the past and the future are fighting for the present. And it's just like, what are we doing? And when we're thinking about Venus in nature is to attract, to magnetize, to create harmony and beauty. And I like that there's a square, because squares for me are Martian in nature. And so they're bringing about this sense of action. And I feel like it's how do we harmonize the present with the future? And it's all something that's happening between these cardinal signs. And so there has to be something that you initiate with this. And the fact that it's Venus in Capricorn, this is something that we're initiating for a long period of time, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And so there's a lot of this Saturnian thing. His hand is reaching and is pushing everything forward. Or at least that's the option. We could either find a way, I feel like we could talk about how we may get stuck in the past, maybe stuck in a comfort zone with the dragon's tail, or we can take the wisdom that we've learned from that dragon's tail, because after a while you don't have to think about the past. The tail just kind of, sometimes I watch cats and watch how their tail just sort of wags about, and I don't think there's any sort of rhyme or reason. It keeps them balanced, it does a lot, but it's not most of the time you just kind of let the past just do its thing. Every now and again they'll attack their tails, which is really funny, but I think that this thing is here is like, how do I work more constructively with that past, that Libra energy, that South Node in Libra? And how do I initiate forward, but not get to where it's like not getting to where that's all you're just like chasing after, because sometimes you can be so caught up in trying to get to something that you don't see how much you've grown. And so it's about, again, that Venus energy, as far as like finding that balance and harmonizing the past with the future, and really being as present as possible, and getting into that practice. Maybe it's taking some meditative breaths each day, whatever that might look like for you, just having a moment of just like, okay, even if you just a little bit, those little bits go long ways. Even if you just do it like once a day, and then just go from there. See what you attract. Then you start pulling in all sorts of esoteric knowledge and different things, different tools to help you get through this journey, kind of navigate this direction that Saturn's going. So, and Saturn's forming a sextile by sign, and Venus is going to be eventually forming a sextile with Saturn as he goes direct. And I kind of like that. It's going to be, and we'll talk about that more later. But I do feel like these things are getting set up right now. This can be a turning point here. And then we get into Moon Day, the 18th of November. And at about 12:55 a.m., Mercury is going to be forming an opposition with Big Papa. And this is going to be happening at 18 degrees and 47 minutes. Mercury is in Sagittarius and Jupiter is in Gemini, which is a really cool thing because, one, they're in mutual reception. So they're in each other's signs. So even though they're in their signs of detriment, what a better time to be in detriment. I feel like, especially to be by the time, because what Mercury's going to be going retrograde in about a week. So there's that. We all love a great Mercury retrograde. But I feel like if there's going to be a time for both Jupiter and, because Jupiter's retrograde right now too, and if there's any better time for them to be retrograde or in these signs of detriment, is when the other is in their opposite signs. Because I like to think of mutual reception. It's like, I'm at your house and you're at my house. You don't know where anything is. I don't know where anything is, but I can call you. I can at least call you, just be like, hey, why doesn't your sink turn on? Where's the handle? And you can be like, bro, where's the bathroom? Just whatever our problems may be. But that's how I like to think of mutual reception. And the fact that it's an opposition with Jupiter, I feel like that this is a time to, it's an interesting combination I think this opposition brings. Jupiter's bringing in a lot of information with Gemini, and Sag in Mercury, I feel, is very inspired. So I think with this energy, it's not trying to fix all of the things, say like, I'm going to make these sort of like, maybe sort of bold declarations. Let this be sort of like an intimate thing where you go within, you're having this conversation with yourself. Okay, what actions do I need to take? And as opposed to just talking about it, do something. Like, what, I've been thinking about maybe moving the body more. In that moment, let's go for a walk. Even if we just go for a walk to the end of the block and back, to the end of the driveway and back, maybe around the house, whatever it is. And just take that initiative and just see how you feel after that. And do you still feel that, like, just to have it checked off your list? And then I feel like there's just something that can be very inspirational, but it's something that we're going to have to get that opposition energy. It's about not letting something, because this is between fire energy that this is happening, that Venus is deciding. She's in a passive energy right now, being in Capricorn, a feminine energy. And it's just like, do I go this way or do I go that way? But it's all about going. And I think that with this kind of masculine energy too, this fire and this air here. So I think that this Mercury-Jupiter opposition can be one of talking the talk and walking the walk. And really kind of like living by example, as opposed to saying, wouldn't it be nice if I did this or made more time for that? Just really kind of get things moving. I really like this energy that's coming through. Now with the kind of heavy kind of Saturnian elements, because Mercury and Jupiter's retrograding there in Saturn. They're about getting ready to have another square here soon. I think on Christmas in America. I think it's on Christmas Eve, so a little over a month. So there's going to be some more kind of Saturn stuff in the mix, but also just by zodiac sign, they're squares one another right now. There's a lot of call to action and a lot of needing to be adaptable. It's all cardinal, immutable energy right now. So this is not the time to just be kind of pulled willy nilly. This is something definitely kind of have a focus and just going with the motions. Like, okay, I might be in it, but how am I gonna get out of it? Just kind of just the next thing you know, you're on the other side. So. But yeah, I think that's all I got for you. And if you're wondering if wanting to work with these energies more closely, down in the description box below, I have a link for all of my services that I got one more that I need to include in there, but we're going to do it. So, but yes, that's all I got for you there. So, and until next time, keep raising that consciousness and that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one. Mercury Day.